Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hi, and welcome to episode 202 of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Executive Editor of Total Retail. Joining me today is Julia Babina, Vice President of Operations and Customer Service at Brooklinen, a direct-to-consumer brand selling luxury bed sheets, pillows, comforters, and blankets. We're going to be discussing the growth of Brooklinen, including how a pop-up shop helped propel the brand forward. Thanks for joining me, Julia.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So a good place to start would be to have you briefly tell us a little bit about Brooklinen for those in our audience that aren't familiar with the brand.
Sure. So Brooklinen was founded by a husband-wife team, Rich and Vicky, in 2014. And at first, we actually began as a direct-to-consumer bedding company, and we slowly realized that we were actually building something greater than just sheets, comforters, and pillows, and we were boxing up that comfort and delivering it to customers' doors. And our philosophy in creating this comfort was very simple. We loved top-quality materials, we appreciated responsible manufacturing, and we also understood that we needed to deliver accessible prices to our customers. And we actually just celebrated our 5th anniversary. We turned 5. We're official, a grown-up business, and we are the largest bedding brand in the DTC space.
So as you noted, the brand's kind of roots are as a direct-to-consumer online business. In the fourth quarter of last year, Brooklinen opened up its first kind of physical presence, a pop-up shop. This was in New York. Interested in kind of the motivation for the opening of the pop-up shop. Can you talk us through that decision a little bit?
Sure. So we're a young, growing company, and we've been experimenting with a lot of different ideas and initiatives in the digital dimension. So we realized that it was time for us to finally meet our customers in real time and have conversations with them and engage with them on the retail floor. And we also wanted to introduce them to our products through this actual tactile experience. And also as a growing company, we're always looking for ways to learn from multiple experiences, from every possible medium. And we realized that, okay, if we're opening the pop-up store, we need to be there for our customers. So every team member was tasked with working at the store at least once. So all of those teams that would naturally not talk to our customers would have the opportunity to engage with them and bring all of those learnings back in-house and share with the rest of the team.
Moving into another channel, physical store, the brick and mortar shop, obviously inherent in that and brings with it new challenges. Speaking from an operations perspective in which your kind of expertise is in, what were the challenges that accompanied that decision with the start of with the opening of a pop-up shop? And maybe you can talk about that as the first part of that question. And then second, what solutions did you put in place to kind of address some of those challenges?
Sure. So the most critical challenges that we faced were centered around 3 major topics: timing, systems, and people management. So I think the challenges that each specific team faced were very unique and very multifaceted, but they were all centered around the same idea: time constraint. As you can imagine, 4 weeks is just about enough to understand what type of a framework we're trying to build here, let alone trying to actually devise a holistic plan on how to integrate all of the critical pieces together. And we were also approaching the holiday season, and we needed to execute with precision and accuracy in our operational world. So we were constantly shifting from just our growing operational needs during peak season and also trying to constantly give enough attention to this beast of retail that was growing. And the next challenge was, of course, system integrations. So we are a digital brand. We are integrated in so many different ways through applications and software pieces. So we needed to make sure that this retail component is also integrated in our stable infrastructure that we've been developing for years. And we had to partner up with our water management system partner, Stitch Labs, to make sure that we devise concrete, simple, and unique workflows, and we Frankenstein all of these different fragmented processes together and make sure that they are communicated to the teams in the most effective manner. And the last challenge was, of course, people management in general, because we were tasked with finding 12 amazing team members who would embrace change, because change is constant in our environment. Yep. We're a growing business. So just educating them on all of the operational processes, what we could not do, how all of these fragile and vulnerable processes would work in the back end, and just setting expectations for them that it's not their fault that something might not work necessarily in the most seamless way. It's just the way that we were able to set up the processes with a very limited timeline that we were given. So we were successful, and I think we were still able to create an amazing extension of our brand through this experience. So far, that's been an amazing challenge for us.
So you mentioned the extension of the brand, and having this physical presence, albeit for 4 weeks, kind of adds a new layer to the customer experience. Also, it adds, as you noted, kind of the operational aspect of it, and a new layer of data that you're getting here at the physical experience. So I'm interested in terms of the customers that visited or purchased from the pop-up shop. Were you able to kind of track those customers? The pop-up shop was in Q4 of last year, so we're about 5-6 months out. Were you able to kind of get a tracking of those customers and try to continue the relationship with them, post the pop-up shop?
Sure. So initially, the pop-up store was set up as a separate sales channel, and we wanted to make sure that we learned from this experience as much as possible. So we needed to create that scalable infrastructure to learn from. And we were able to easily understand customer sentiment by channel. We were able to quickly identify any customer data by sales channel. So that was something that we set up pretty seamlessly from the very beginning. And what we've learned from this experience is actually 25% of all purchases that were made in store were made from our repeat buyers, and 75% were coming from this new cohort of customers. And we, of course, try to engage with both groups through customer surveys, sending customers invitations to visit our pop-up events, and just reach out to them and hear from them what they think was an amazing experience, what are some of the areas that we could perfect.
So for the pop-up shop, how much of the inventory was kept on hand? How much of it was kept in a DC and then shipped to the customer after the purchase? What was that kind of like in terms of getting product to the customer?
Sure, that's a great question. So, and that was one of the proud moments for us, actually, the way that we were able to figure out a perfect inventory mix to keep at the pop-up store. So overall, we have about 1,800 different SKUs, and we ensured that all of the best-selling categories were available at the store. And what we achieved was the fact that 80% of all of the orders that customers placed at the store were fulfilled from the store, and 20% of all of the orders were shipped to our customers from our fulfillment center. So just, again, as I mentioned, having a lot of SKUs and a very dynamic product launch schedule that we keep here at Brooklinen, that was quite a challenge. But we were able to achieve an optimal output.
Yeah, so that leads into my next question in terms of analysis of the pop-up shop. From a company perspective, what are the results that you're most proud of in terms of the pop-up shop experiment from Q4 of 2018?
Sure. So I think the experience truly united all of our teams in a very unique way, in the way that we probably didn't anticipate. And I think we all wanted to put out the perfect product out there. We wanted to make it happen, and we were all challenged with lack of time, with lack of human resources, but we still managed to introduce something impeccable, even though short-lived, and deliver that idea of comfort to our customers. And I think on the other end, we also realize how valuable our partnership with our order management partner actually is for us, because without them, we would not be able to devise simple, unique workflows. Without them, we would not even be able to connect all of the pieces together. So, it's been an amazing opportunity to embrace this partnership and grow the partnership, for the continued new challenges.
So then my final question, Julie, is, having gone through this experience and, coming out of it, with positive feelings, is there any thought that physical store locations, permanent brick and mortar stores, might be in the future for Brooklinen?
Sure. So as with any new initiative, we want to make sure that we have enough data and we aggregate enough of customer sentiment and feedback to validate the viability of the next step, next direction, product solution. And retail is not an exception. We still have a lot of questions to answer. And as soon as we answer all of those questions, our customers would be the first ones to know about our retail expansion plans.
Okay. Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank Julia Babina of Brooklinen for joining me today. Please check out our podcast channel page, mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. But make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. Also, please take the time to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and I look forward to you joining us on the next episode of Total Retail Talks.